Oh, why, hello. Welcome on in to Leading Off with Brodes. We got two baseball games. Now, I just tweeted this out about, 40 minutes, 30 minutes ago or so. Whoever thought it would be a great idea to play 7-inning baseball games, they deserve jail time. What are you doing? You're robbing me of 2 innings. You're robbing me of 4 innings, really. In what universe would it be such a great idea? Let's shorten the games. Let's take away time. Why don't we look at numbers and say, how crucial and how big is the 8th inning? Is the 9th inning? How much does that factor into the equation of the outcome of games? But no, let's just shorten it. It's a joke. I'm disgusted because I'm losing out on 4 innings of baseball. And you know what? Someone commented back at me and said, Brodes, why don't you look at the positive? Why don't you look at the fact that, hey, at least you get 14 innings of baseball? Damn it, because I could have 18. That's why I'm pissed off. I'll tell you what, though, I am getting a little tired. I am getting a little bit hitting a wall, if you will. So I did make a run. And I'm not really a big iced coffee guy. Normally not a big iced coffee guy. I always go hot for the most part. There's a 0.2% chance I go iced coffee. Today I went a little iced coffee. The problem is I drink it so fast because it's so damn good. I get a caffeine rush way more than I normally do. What do they call those things? A brain freeze. It's all over the place. So I think I need more coffee, but this is what we do here. All right, we talk some baseball. We drink too much coffee. We scream into this microphone, and then we attack the day. So let me take a fat sip here. Yeah, I go cream for the iced coffee. Not normally, though. Black majority of the time. I bet I do like missionary. How about that? That's awesome. All right, by the way, I'm referencing this right here. I'm not just randomly saying something. That's funny, though. Touche. It's sort of like when I come up short with my putts. Do you hit it with your purse? Yeah, sometimes I do. Sometimes I do. All right, why don't we head on over to the batter's box to get things started here on this crazy day that we are about to have with 2 baseball games. So here we go. Let's hop on into the batter's box. Bang, our pitching matchup for game 1. We get a little bit of Chase Anderson versus Walker. Now, here's the problem. If this was a standard game, I would feel okay about Chase Anderson giving you 5 innings or so. And yes, they did bring up Spencer Howard, so we'll see how and when they utilize him. And not that I have insane expectations, but I'm excited. I'm intrigued to see a new fresh start for Spencer Howard. Last year, he had the shoulder problems. We saw how long it took for him to warm up during one of his outings. And once you see that, it's like, already we're going down that hole. We're going down those issues with taking some time to kind of get yourself going. So there was some question marks surrounding Spencer Howard's health. I'm interested to see what he does. But does 5 innings do you justice here when you have the doubleheader? That scares me. Now, you have Walker on the other side. It's not like you're going up against DeGrom. That would change my opinion on things. This is a winnable baseball game. I'm just so fascinated on what you're going to get out of Chase Anderson. Now, I do want to bring up this tweet that Matt Gelb, who covers the Phillies for The Athletic, put out there. He tweets this. Definitely interested to see how these 7-inning games go without the DH. Also a huge thing to factor in. We saw managers be aggressive in 2020, even when pinch hitting for a pitcher wasn't in the equation. Phillies were 5-10 in 7-inning games. And if you remember, some of those were just a joke. You had some poor play with that bullpen where you just lost heartbreakers after heartbreakers in the same exact day. If I remember correctly, it was against the Blue Jays, and the gut was in my stomach, and I didn't know what to do with myself. I didn't know how to handle the rest of my night because it was so damaging to my heart. It's like, really? You guys blow. You blow. No, I don't anticipate seeing anything to that level, of course, but just the pitching aspect of this all without the DH, it adds another element. For example, when you look at what you have now with Andrew Knapp being in there, you used to be able to throw JT and have JT's bat available while you get Andrew Knapp some play. You do not have the luxury of that anymore. Now you got an interesting matchup between Chase Anderson and Walker. So just looking at what Anderson did last outing, he gave you 5 innings, 2 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned runs, 1 home run allowed, 2 walks, and 3 strikeouts in his 5 innings. You're on your 5th starter, right? I mean, let's not put false expectations in the mix. Let's not act as if we got to demand way more, even though we want to, and it is a different circumstance. It's also only 7 innings. So I just bitched and complained that I want 9 innings because that's real baseball. And this feels like I'm watching some little league or some 16-year-olds that finally got moved up to the big field and it's their first year, so they get 7 innings. But if you get 5 innings out of Chase Anderson, well, there's only 2 innings for the bullpen. It opens up a lot more. So, 5 innings for this. If you get 5 innings in a 7-inning game out of your starter and Chase Anderson, you set yourself up for some success. Now, looking at Walker and what he provides, this is courtesy of StatCast Pitch Arsenal, all right? So far this year, he's used a four-seam fastball 35% of the time. He utilizes that slider around 31% of the time as well. So bang, bang, those are his 2 primary pitches in the four-seamer and the slider. He's got the sinker as well, so he's not afraid to dabble into that, maybe getting you to ground out a bit. He uses that 22% of the time. And then very occasionally he's got a split in the curve. So just something to kind of look at for what you're going to see out of Walker. He's had some success in this league. He has had some nice runs, and he's had some good years, but he kind of sits around that 3, in between the 3 and 4 ERA. So you're definitely able to do some damage and get on the board here against Walker. I miss baseball. It's like one game, right? One game is crazy. That just missing one game due to a rain delay, I don't know how to operate. I did see some Mets fans, maybe not Mets fans particularly, but people reporting about the Mets, and I want to pull up this tweet. All right, so last year there were some issues and whatnot about starting the season and all that nonsense, but this is from DJ Short, and DJ Short covers baseball for NBC Sports, all right? And he tweeted this out earlier Yesterday. Can't help but think the start of the season puts the Mets at somewhat of a measurable disadvantage. Ready to go out of spring training, pause due to COVID. Now more sitting around with rainouts. How is anyone supposed to get in rhythm? I don't think a doubleheader will help. Well, look, I mean, it's unfortunate. Nobody wants these circumstances. No one's saying, we want all this to go down and we want the Nats to have these COVID problems. No, but this is how it's been. No one said anything last year about when Miami had problems. St. Louis, I believe, was the other team that had problems. There were breakouts nonstop. Nobody really put it on that type of level of intensity then. It was like, hey, you just got to battle through it. These are the unfortunate circumstances that occur when you are talking about a COVID-19 year list. Or COVID-19 year last year. Last year, the Marlins made the Phillies sit out for 7 days of a 60-game season, which got them out of rhythm and condensed schedule, including 5 doubleheaders in 2 weeks. And that wasn't heavily discussed like the Mets are now. It sucks, all right? It's not what anybody wants to see, but it is a problem for sure. But you got to battle through it. You got to find ways. So let's take a look at the lineup for what we have in Game 1. All right, the lineup. Here we go. This is what we are today for this lineup. Of course, I had everything. I'm so used to closing out tabs because when I'm done with a page, that's what I do. Yet I forget that I have everything set up for the show. And it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to talk about these topics, and I close out of the tabs like a moron that I am. All right, so we got Andrew McCutchen leading off, Rhys Hoskins batting second, Bryce Harper batting third, Alec Bowman your cleanup spot, followed by Didi Gregorius, Gene Segura, Andrew Knapp, Roman Quinn, and Anderson. Yes, Roman Quinn is in the mix. Roman Quinn stinks. I'm sick and tired of this garbage. He's going to strike out again, although I gave him props. Last game, you go 0 for 4, and you end up not striking out. I mean, what an absolute joke out of Roman Quinn, the fact that we constantly continue to throw him out there. And I thought that there was going to be one point where it wasn't going to be a spot where it's a platoon. You're switching back and forth. Hey, just give someone the job and allow them to play and compete. But this nonsense of switching back and forth, it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. I actually saw people trying to defend Roman Quinn as if, well, he got hosed on a couple of those calls. Stop it. Really? Yeah, there has been some bad calls, maybe on the outside corner and all, but protect. You need to adjust. You need to realize this is where the umpire's calling pitches that day. You might not like it. It might not be in your best interest. It might not be what you need to go yard Roman Quinn. But guess what? I don't give a damn. Make contact with the ball. You don't know how. This is egregious that they just keep throwing it in your face. I can't stand Mickey Moniak, right? And he had a nice spring training. I'm at the point now where let him stop with this. One day it's him. One day it's this guy. One day it's that. Allow someone to go out there and just try to do it. And the thing is, don't tell me that you're trying to give it to Roman Quinn. He blows. Go out there, put Mickey Moniak in. Go out there, put Odubel Herrera in the lineup. But you can't constantly throw this garbage out there. I already brought up Matt Gelb. He had a phenomenal piece on The Athletic about center field. And when you look at what the Braves can do with someone like Pat Shea who can come in here and play center field, you can move Ronald Acuna Jr. over to right field, and he can make all these explosive plays where he's robbing Alec Boehm over the shoulder, which with a magnificent catch that changes the outcome of the game. That versatility and what you can do with those two guys. And yet here you are like trying to figure out for the 97th season in a row what Roman Quinn can do. Roman Quinn is a disaster. Seriously, everyone and their mother can see it. Can we please stop with this nonsense? Please, I beg of you, please. It's unbelievable. By the way, I do see the comments going, and someone asked, do I answer questions on the show? I do. It's at the end. When we go through the batter's box, the back end of the batter's box is your thoughts and your comments. So I do open it up more for the comment section as we continue to move on with the conversation. But yeah, with this game one lineup, I mean, it's you're getting your standard set for the most part. I can't stand what we're doing in center and what we're doing with this debacle back and forth. One game, it's one guy. The next game, it's the next guy. It's like, you don't see it. You don't see it. You're telling me your baseball mind and Dave Dombrowski and Joe Girardi don't see it? And I'm sure they do. That's the thing. They're not dumb people. They've been around the block. They're intelligent baseball minds. They're going to sell you garbage, just like Joe Girardi tried telling us that Freddie Freeman's ball to Jose Alvarado was perfectly placed. Just like he said he thought Alec Boehm's toe touched home plate. When they tell you that, well, I like Roman Quinn. And I thought, what did he say the other day? Let's go back to the Twitter world, shall we? Because I quote tweeted it and said, come on, Joe. Don't be doing this nonsense to me. He said something along the lines of he loved Roman Quinn's last 4 or 5 at-bats. His approach to the plate was fine. He sucks! Really? His approach to the plate striking out again? His approach to the plate grounding out again? His approach to the plate being overwhelmed? That's better? Well, he's not as overwhelmed. Okay, so if we're on a 1 to 10 scale here, and 10 is being this guy doesn't deserve to be in Major League Baseball. Well, instead of being 10, he's 9. He's 9.5. Well, he's doing better approaching the plate. Holy hell. I mean, I just don't know how long I can do it. I shouldn't be, for the 9th straight game, sitting here just ripping apart the center field position, right? Like, I should at least, my problem here is I don't see a path. I don't see a blueprint. I don't see the idea. I don't see the concept. Show me the plan. Show me what you're thinking. And if you're thinking platoon, that's a garbage thought process, and change it. Change it, because I'm sick of it already. That's the one thing I demanded not to have, is that. No platoon. Pick a damn guy. If he ends up sucking for a period of time, then you go to Mickey Moniak, you go to Odubel Herrera, and then you think about what's next. But this isn't it. We've done this already. We've tried this already. It's like you're pounding your damn head into the wall over and over again. God damn it. All right. I guess that's all I got for the lineup, right? Anything else that stands out to me? Not too much. Andrew Knapp getting in there one of the games. That's inevitable. I did notice that because when I was discussing the game on, was it Coffee with Brodes? I was talking about how Didi Gregorius popped up and Gene Segura moved Alec Boehm over. And I hold on a second. It must have just slipped my mind. But, I've seen it more this season where Gregorius batted before Gene Segura. So they did the old flip-flop. And I guess that just slipped my mind the other day that they did do the flip-flop. But this game, it's back to Gregorius and then Segura. Of course, you have a righty in the mound in Walker. So, all right, where are we next? That's right, the batter's box. That's where we go here on this show. I lost my cool, I lost my mind, and I lost my dignity, apparently, by getting cream in my coffee. Well, Let's go to the batter's box. Bryce Harper is getting hotter. Bryce Harper is figuring it out a little bit. Bryce Harper is swinging the bat, and he's starting to look nicer. His last 2 games, all right? On April 10th against Atlanta in a 5-4 loss, my man had a home run, 1 RBI, of course. And then in the second game, April 11th, or that was the third game, excuse me. The third game of the series, he ends up hitting a second home run. Another RBI, of course. So my point is he's had 2 homers in the last 2 games. I don't know why I tried to just describe it to you in that way. That was probably one of the worst ways to get that out of my mouth. Probably one of the worst ways I can sit here and tell you that I couldn't have come up with a worse idea and a worse plan in my head than describing it the way that I just did to you. Moral of the story, though, is Bryce Harper over the last 2 games has been able to go and been explosive offensively at the plate. And I just, I'm anticipating seeing this man get going a bit and just getting in rhythm. And it's starting to open up. The season's starting to open up for him. And when he goes, the team goes. When he thrives, the team thrives. When he's able to get going, it just adds. You're always afraid of Bryce Harper. That's obvious. Whenever you're a pitcher on the other side and you see him on the bump, you're afraid. But when he's in a spurt where he's striking out a little bit and he's not able to get a hit, like, you're not as afraid. When he starts to hit some home runs, now you got to get creative. Now you got to get unique. Now you pitch differently. You pitch worried. One, that can be the pitch where you make a mistake and it costs you, because sometimes when you play afraid, that's when the most damage is done. Or you flirt around the outside of the plate or the inside of the plate and you start walking Bryce Harper. That opens up the door for Alec Boehm, for Didi Gregorius, for JT Realmuto when he's in the lineup. And, of course, you have Rhys Hoskins in front of him, which also puts it in perspective where you can't dance around Rhys Hoskins, because if you end up putting him on base and Bryce Harper's playing a hotter stretch of baseball and you want to flirt around him, now you're putting 2 guys on. If you start creating some traffic for this Phillies team and then you look at their 2 through 6, it's starting to, well, that's more with JT Realmuto in the mix, of course. Things do change with Knapp and Quinn at the bottom of your lineup. It doesn't make it as much of a lethal weapon. But here's the thing. The Mets have to deal with the same problem. So as much as I'm not pumped up to see Andrew Knapp and Roman Quinn, they got to deal with their versions of playing this doubleheader as well, where, they're going to have to make some moves, and a guy like McCann behind the dish and things of that nature. So it does impact the opposing squad too. With Bryce Harper, though, I just, when you think about this team and you think about how this squad is going to flow and how their rhythm's going to be in motion, and the fact that he's hitting 2 home runs in 2 nights, that the floodgates are open, all right? It's about getting this team with their offense and how it starts to click, it starts to flow. When a team in a mid-season form starts to roll with their intensity, it's just bang, 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 bang. Everyone has their role. Everyone has their system, and it just falls into place. But it starts with Bryce Harper. With Rhys Hoskins being somewhat hot, he was super hot. Then he had a couple of nights in a row where he was a little cold. I think he had 3 strikeouts in 1 game, too. But then he responded with perfect contact, beautiful swing. I got it in slow motion on a GIF on my Twitter. Just great execution coming through the zone, hips in pure form, good flow of the body as he just exits the ball over the fence with a nice trot as well. That's also an added bonus. Just good swag going around the bases. And hopefully he does that again to the Mets. But there is like something happening right here. I can smell it. I can sense it. I can see it out of the Bryce Harper. We got Matt Klentak in here. That just totally threw me in for a loop. Look at this. Look at this. Are you kidding me? Are you absolutely kidding me? What a disgrace. All right, why don't we open it up a little bit now to your thoughts? There is some more to talk about, though, when it comes to Game 2 with Aaron Nola on the mound and all. But why don't we kind of kick back a little bit now that I got some of the, some of the main points here and the matchups and all that out of the way. Why don't we get into that? Let's see. When do I think the Philly season really starts? Didn't it already start? Am I missing something? Didn't it already begin and already get going? Or am I an idiot here? Stat line predictions for Anderson. I think Anderson's going to give us something very similar to what we saw in his last outing. And the thing is, with a doubleheader, with it only being 7 innings, if you get 5 innings out of Chase Anderson, that's equivalent to getting 7 innings in a regular game where you only have to rely on the bullpen for 2 innings. So I think Chase Anderson can get you 5. I mean, he did that last game. He gave you 5 innings. He allowed 2 earned runs. He allowed 1 home run. He walked 2. I mean, that's what kind of Chase Anderson is. He gives you 5. He'll allow a couple runs, but he'll hold you involved in the game. That's what I anticipate seeing out of Chase Anderson. Aaron Nola, I mean, in theory, he can get you a full-on 100% complete game, right? I mean, he did that before, and he said, this doesn't feel right. And it should. That should not count as a complete game. That should not count as a legitimate, complete game. But, yeah, I mean, if you think about the real expectations for Nolan, it says on ESPN he's going up against Stroman. Yeah, he could do it. For sure, he could do it. Who do I think hits a homer today? Well, there's 2 games on today, Joseph. There's 2 games. So, I mean, I can give you a lot of guys. I think Didi Gregorius goes yard again. I think, was it Bryce Harper again? I mean, that would make it it's 2 games. So it's so hard. But sure, I mean, is Bryce Harper going to do it again? Why not? Why the hell not? Let's throw him into the mix and say, of course he's going to do it again. Why would I ever bet against my man? Think the Mets come out rusty or hot? Probably a little rusty. Probably a little rusty. I mean, I'm sure they're pissed off and disgusted with how everything went down. Was it Stroman the other day that pitched and because of the rain delay and he said that he didn't want to, but they ended up playing the game anyway. And Rojas said some words about it too. So I don't know. Maybe they're a little disgusted and a little pissed off with what's going on to the point where they expect to see something, a little bit, they're just fired up, I guess, is what I'm kind of looking for. Something like that. Let's see if, yeah. Just call me Flair with the $5 comes in and says, are you going to do stream reactions for other games, specifically 76ers playoffs? I'm not too sure, to be honest with you. I'm not too positive exactly what we're going to do on that specific playoff run or whatever. It's more like I'd have to schedule it and whatnot. So I'm not sure what I'm doing for in-game stream reactions and whatnot, to be honest with you. But yeah, I'm not sure. But thank you so much, Just Call Me Flair, for all the support. When are we calling up Mickey Moniak? I was so anti-Mickey Moniak for 3,000 years of my life, but I'm at the point now where this is so disgraceful. This is so brutal. This is so pathetic. This is so embarrassing that we constantly throw this trash out there on the field and think that anything's going to change. That anyone but Quinn. Anyone but think about how desperate I am to the point where this is equivalent. And if you listen to my Sixers content, this is equivalent to hating somebody so much that I'd rather have Furkan Korkmaz play than somebody else. That's how I feel about Mickey Moniak. Now, I don't hate Mickey Moniak to the same level that I do a guy like Roman Quinn, but I'm just putting it in perspective that I don't want Roman Quinn to play so badly that I'm pretty much saying I would rather have someone like Furkan Korkmaz play that equivalent in Mickey Moniak. That's how much I can't stand him. Kutch in center field. I mean, I think at this point in his career, I mean, that's so much for a guy. That's so much for somebody. That's so much for someone with his injury history. I just think at that point you're somewhat searching, you're reaching. It's like, when you think of managing, and I think of it like this, you want to put your players in the best position possible to succeed. I don't think putting Andrew McCutchen in center field is doing him justice. I think you're hurting him more than you're helping him out. And I get it. Like, you're helping out your team in theory because is it better than Roman Quinn when it comes to it? Maybe. But let's not act like Matt Joyce or any of these other options. I mean, Matt Joyce is a bench piece. At this point, you're begging to put Matt Joyce in and be one of your starting pitcher or starting players. That's not something that I can justify either. So, yeah, I think, TJ, what you would be doing there is hurting one of your players and putting him in a bad spot. And I don't think you want to be putting a veteran player like Andrew McCutchen, who's coming back from an injury and getting into some rhythm a little bit, like you're helping him out, just trying to get back on track, putting him in left field, where now I think you're kind of, doing him a disservice. What's up, man? There's a game today with Eagles with a $2 donation. Yes, there's 2 games today. You got a Phillies game at 4:10. You got a Phillies game after that. 2 7-inning games for your doubleheader. So, yes, there is a game today. Thank you so much for the $2. There's 2 games today. You should appreciate that. What's the deal with Spencer Howard? Well, I mean, look, to say that they overvalued a prospect, we have heard that before in many different times. I'm not somebody who is anti Spencer Howard, but to say he's a 3, he's not even close to being ready for a 3. Right now, he's a 5. That's where he's at. Now, he's so young. Technically, he's so young in terms of experience. Nowadays, I watch guys come up in this league and kind of throw, and you can see their worth pretty instantly. He's got some stuff that's really nice. All right, he does have some electric pitches that I really am intrigued by. His fastball has some work to it. He's got that nasty off speed that hangs and drops. I mean, he's got some stuff in his repertoire. He just hasn't been able to put it fully together. He hasn't had a lot of work to do it. It's not like he's had a big sample size to go out there on the mound and throw. He had the injury, but that's also a big problem with him. Injuries has been something in his career that has somewhat held him back. To be honest with you, I don't think he's a top end of the rotation guy. I think he's a starting rotation guy. I don't think he's a top end of the rotation guy. But they're going to try and make sure that they give him as many chances to do that. But he deserves a chance to still go out there and throw. So I would expect to see him pretty soon here as he got called up today. Am I big on Jose Alvarado? Absolutely. You just got to know what Jose Alvarado is all about. There's going to be times where it's perfect. There's going to be times where he gets out of there, bang, bang, bang. And then there's going to be times where he gets a little ugly. There's 2 guys on. He's got to work around the jam. Like, he's going to give you this amazing ride of emotions. That's what he is. But to make it seem like that's not worth it or that's bad or that's awful to have, that's not necessarily the case. Compared to what you had last year, the fact that this is your bullpen, it's night and day with how much better this bullpen is and how great they are as a unit compared to last year, where, yes, I'm a fan of Jose Alvarado. I think he brings this element of velocity and fear that you didn't have in years past. And him, Coonrod, the way that these guys throw, Connor Brogdon, just giving you high 90s, strikeouts on the corner, good movement with his pitches, and really good placement, too. Like, he's got that command. Connor Brogdon's going to be a stud for sure. Yeah, I definitely like Alvarado. Think Brogdon will become the closer if he keeps performing well and if Neris turns into his old self? I mean, Neris turning into his old self. Neris has been he's just been an average closer. I mean, he's just been he's an average closer. So him being his old self, he's an average closer. I think they value him in that position. If things turn real ugly, will they move that? Maybe they do. If it gets to the point where he's constantly blowing leads and constantly blowing things, but it's going to take more than just 1 or 2 blown saves. Guys make mistakes, closers miss out on opportunities. You can make the argument, well, Chapman's one of the best closers in the game. Well, how many leads does Chapman blow? How many times does he miss something? I mean, it happens all the time. So yeah, I mean, I think it's option C on the list here. I think it's an option. I think Connor Brogdon is more of a setup man, more of a 7th, 8th inning guy right now than a closer guy. I think they have it in the works as possibly, now that Archie Bradley is injured too, now he gets moved up on the list. You would think it would be Neris, Bradley, Brogdon, or maybe Jose Alvarado's in there too. Maybe it'd be like Neris, Alvarado, Bradley, Brogdon. Maybe that would be the order or something to kind of give them opportunities. But now that Archie Bradley's out, that gives you another chance to kind of throw him in there. Great day for a boom bomb in both games. That would be amazing. Thank you so much for the $2 Philly fans in South Dakota. Yeah, I mean, are you kidding me? Alec Boehm giving it after that unbelievable performance and slide at home that was not controversial whatsoever. You're telling me that you get a good chance here to take it yard and just to keep it going? I love it. I love the fact that baseball was all up in arms and mad at him about, like, as if it's his fault, right? Not that I didn't see it at first. Someone brought that up to me that all these Braves fans are pissed off at Bowman. I didn't really see that. I saw them more mad at the umpires. And then afterwards, I went back and I did see even more outrage. And they were definitely targeting Bohm a little bit more than I thought that they were. But I'll tell you what, how much of a loser can you be to be crying and pissing yourself to that level of frustration where it's like, shut up, put it behind you, move the fuck on. That's what I would tell you. Move the fuck on. Stop your bitching. Stop your whining. It's over with. I get it. In the moment, be a little upset with the call. I'm not saying you're not allowed to have zero emotions whatsoever. whine about it for 5 minutes, complain, scream, whatever you want to do. Hey, there's 155 more games or whatever is left. There's 150. The more you just want it, you want to sit and cry and complain about that all night long. You're not going to change anything. All right, go out and play. What's the best thing about baseball? What do they say? You get to play the next day. If you don't like your effort, you get another chance to play the following day. So just go out there and play that way. Just go out there and do your thing. It's that simple. It's that simple. Quinn is elite and needs to stay on this team because he factors late in games. You are lying, right? Like, this is a troll. You're not actually being serious, right? You are making a joke, correct? We can all confirm that this is a joke and this is not real life. Whoa, thank you so much, Trevor. Trevor says, you're a legend, Brodes. I'm anxious because I know there's another layer to this offense. Tough matchup to start the year, but I'm waiting for the game where everyone's hitting 100 off the barrel. Thank you so much, Trevor, for the $20. I really can't express what that means to me. Thank you so much for the $20 donation. Yeah, I mean, to expect everyone to just be cruising at ease, like no problems at all, everyone's just rolling perfectly. That's never really reality, right? There's always teams where there's a couple guys that aren't flowing. I do agree with you that there is another layer. I do agree with you that there is something there where, there's something that's where you can rely on them to maybe do a little bit more than they have done. But you also brought up a great point. The matchups have not been fantastic to start the season. We talk about how insane this division's going to be and how competitive it's going to be. You're going up against the Mets. You're going up against the Braves. You're going up against playoff teams right from the start of the season, right in the instant beginning. It takes time to adjust. It takes time to get comfortable. It takes time for you. I mean, I've been saying this over and over and over again that, this offense, just everyone in baseball, it takes time for you to get into the level of comfortable when you're in the batter's box, when you're at the dish. So the fact that you're getting thrown these type of teams that, like the Braves lineup, you saw the difference from Series 1 to the third series of the season, did we not? You saw the difference in Ronald Acuna Jr. in that third series of the season compared to the first one. Same with Freddie Freeman. They're different type of beasts. They woke up. I don't think the Phillies are going to be able to match that level of dynamic and match that layer of intensity offensively, but I think that there's more left in the tank. But you're going up against teams that are unbelievably strong, right? You're going up against teams that are looked at as playoff teams. So I think that definitely plays a role, for sure. So don't get too anxious. I think if anything, if you're worried about something, should it be your starting pitching depth and your starting pitching being able to, it's only 2 starts for most of these pitchers, except for Chase Anderson. We'll see him again today. I said after 5 starts is when he can really analyze them and assess them a little bit more than what you have seen to this point, because it gives you more of a sample size. But yeah, I'm more concerned right now with just Aaron Nola giving you a little bit of a weaker start his second outing. Zach Wheeler getting pounded, although he got hosed and squeezed by the umpire behind the dish in his second start, but that wasn't strong. That scares me more than the hitting right now. Things can change. I'm not saying maybe I feel differently as a few more series gets thrown into me and I get to see a little bit more of what this team's all about. Then it would change for sure. But as of right now, that's where I stand. Thank you again so much, Trevor. Thank you so much. Brodes, why is Quinn starting with the lefty on the mound? Well, first off, he does both. He's a switch hitter, and Walker throws righty. He can't continue to be on this team. Yeah, I know. He is just terrible. But yeah, Walker is a righty. So, and he bats switch, if you remember. But not that matters at all. Not that matters at all. I meant righty. My apologies. Yeah, I mean, he stinks no matter what. He's not a good hitter no matter what he does. He stinks. And I forgot that when he came into the league, he was hitting 260. Now, I don't think that, Scott Kingery, you could tell the organization screwed him up a bit, and he's all over the map mentally. Roman Quinn isn't in the same area as Scott Kingery, where it's the approach, it's the launch angle. I know people want to bitch and complain that that's the answer here to why Roman Quinn has fallen off. No, Roman Quinn just looks overmatched. Roman Quinn looks overpowered. There's times when Scott Kingery looked overmatched. And it wasn't because of the swing. It wasn't because of anything other than he just had no confidence. He had no swag. He was so late to everything. He had no clue what he was doing. He was overthinking. There's two different things. You could tell when a batter is just not in the right mental space when he's at the dish, and then when there's problems with the mechanics of the swing. There's two different elements here, and sometimes it's one and one, sometimes it's only one. Like, it's very different. It depends. There's variables to this, and it's very situational. With Roman Quinn, it's not, oh, they're messing him up like they messed up Scott Kingery's swing with this whole launch angle approach. This is him just not knowing how to hit a baseball, and that's totally different. That's absolutely 100% totally different. I'm just kidding. Need Moniak in center field. I'll take it at this point, and that's sad. That's sad that that's where we're at, but I would absolutely 100% take it at this point. I think you'll see Odubel Herrera. I do. I mean, this can't go on forever. This cannot go on forever. Thoughts on Zach Eflin? I love Zach Eflin. I think Zach Eflin is a hell of a guy. Matt Klentak, you shut up down there, who chimes in and says we need to call up Cole Irving. Are you kidding me? In what universe? In what universe? My thoughts on Zach Eflin. I mean, he's a very solid third. I think he's got the mental capacity. I think he's taken each of his pitches that were already very strong, and he's added this dynamic to it where he's more efficient, and he's way more effective, and he's way more confident with all of his pitches. So he's taken his pitches from a B level to more like a B plus A minus level. So he's had that in his repertoire, and now he's kind of shifted it and made it even more explosive of a repertoire that is really scary and is, very, very solid for what he is, for sure. Is Cole Irvin really a starter for the A's? I mean, I haven't even thought of that man in so damn long. Let's look it up. I had no clue he was even still playing baseball, I'll be honest with you. I had no clue. He's 0-2 with a 7.45 ERA in 2 games started, allowing 8 earned runs, 2 home runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, hit 2 batters. You ready for this? It's not many innings pitched. It's 3 innings, 3 2/3 innings. 17.18 ERA with the Phillies last year. Now, 3 2/3 innings is nothing, but 7 earned runs, 1 home run, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. He was terrible. In 16 games, 41 innings pitched with the Phillies back in 2019, he had a 5.83 ERA. Man, he stinks. His app. Let's go to. I can't believe we're on a conversation right now of Cole Irving. Like, that's where we're at right now, huh? Yeah, of course I remember Guerra. Here we go. No, not Baseball Reference. Let's go to the StatCast. Let's see his velocity on his pitches, because that's my favorite. I was considering driving up to Citi Field today. Some plans fell through, but do you know why the tickets are so much cheaper there than the bank? I do not know. Are you going to tell me why, or are you just asking me in general? Where can I see this beautiful velocity on his exit velocity, pitches? The four-seamer, 26% of the time. That's fine. I want to see the velocity on his pitches. 90 miles per hour is his average four-seam fastball. God, that is fucking atrocious. That is atrocious. It really is. Now, I'm just curious for Aaron Nola, what Aaron Nola's is. Because we know Aaron Nola doesn't have insane velocity, right? So Aaron Nola's fastball velocity is 92. So it's up from Cole Irvin. Obviously, there's a huge difference. I'm just looking at it for perspective. I'd rather Wheeler at the plate than Quinn. Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's a fair assessment based off of what you've seen to this point for sure, right? All right, we're getting Cole Irvin off my left screen here. We're done. Exit, 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 exit. Way too much involved. Way too much involved. What is up with this Roman Quinn thing? Like, has Roman Quinn even got contact with the ball ever? My God, the dude strikes out 75 times. What is up with it? Like, the amount of, I mean, I know that they're just trolls, right? They have to be. What was the other one? Yeah, Snag So Cold mentioned something about Roman Quinn and how elite he is and how much Roman Quinn is needed on this team because of late game situations. No, No, he does not. Why is David Hale still on the roster? I don't know. I don't know why he's still on the roster. There's so many problems here for sure. There's a lot of issues here. Score prediction for the first and second game. I don't know. Let's see what the win totals are for, not win totals, run totals are on my DraftKings Sportsbook app, which, by the way, you can use promo code Brodes when you sign up on your DraftKings Sportsbook app to get in on all these phenomenal odds and promotion boosts. 7. So let's go with 5-3 Phillies. Are they going to win both? I don't think they're going to win both. I think they're going to split today. So I'll say 5-3 Mets in game 1. And in game 2, when Aaron Nola's on the bump, they win 4-2. How's that? That's my predictions for the 2 games that we have today. How about that? Oh, it's not legal to sports bet in Maryland. That's a shame. That is a damn shame. I didn't say Quinn was elite. His speed is elite. Well, what's his speed do if you can never get on base? You want to see his on base percentage? I'll tell you what his on base percentage is. You know how great his speed is when the only time he gets on base is because he gets hit by a pitch. His OBP is, I can't believe it's even this high. His batting average is 0.63. His on base percentage is 211. And I think that that's high. I mean, I don't even think that number is doing it a justice here on how terrible he really is. So, with that being said, what is great about speed if you stink at baseball? Huh? What's good about speed? He doesn't need to hit. He can just – that's a waste of a roster spot. Your team's not good enough. If you had everything all figured out and all completed and you needed a pinch runner that you can utilize heavily and you have the proper roster constructed, fine. Then it's okay and I feel better. You have holes. When you have holes, you can't waste a roster spot on a guy who can't do anything but run. That's a waste. If you're a completed perfect roster, then you're not a perfect completed roster, in my opinion. But I'm just saying, let's say the Dodgers had one less bench piece and Roman Quinn was on the Dodgers. Then you can sacrifice that because you'd have that fast pinch runner and all, but he still stinks and it would still hurt your team rather than having someone who can do more damage for you in other areas than just speed. But then I can support it more. I'm not saying I would fully support it. I could support it more. Now, though, no. This is how you know it's time to end. This is how you know it's game over. So with that being said, everybody, Gabe Kapler says he battles hard. That doesn't show up on the stat sheet. That is a perfect time to kind of end this and end the stream as we go about 45 minutes here on leading off with Brodes. So there you go. We're headed into this doubleheader. I want to thank everybody for the donations. Thank everybody for hanging out and enjoy the 2 baseball games tonight. I know I will be. Make sure you follow along on Twitter at Brodes81 as I clip a bunch of clips that tickle my fancy. See you guys later.